I'm Sammy, and this is my knitting podcast, Sammy's Hobbies. You might notice that we are in a different location this week. There's a door behind me, which is not where you'd normally find someone sitting in my home. But to be honest, this just worked out best with the lighting at the time of day that I could record. I live in a very small 500 square foot unit, and a lot of the spaces that you would sit down are not great with lighting. So I had to move some things around, and I think we'll be good here. And so bear with me as I figure that out a little bit going forward. It might just change slightly based on when I am able to record. This is my second episode of all time, and I honestly feel so grateful and honored at the kind response and subscriptions and views that I've already received. So I don't know, I love building a little community here. I've also found some other knitting podcasts through posting my own, which has been lovely and wonderful to have kind of that back and forth interaction and engaging with people that you might not normally engage with had it not been for fiber arts. So that is really fun for me. I have allergies right now, so bear with me a little bit as we get through this episode. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here and grateful for this little corner of the internet. Let's see, I do have two finished objects to share today. The first one is a whole pair of socks. These are my first socks that I've ever knit, and these are the I'm So Basic socks by Summer Lee Knits. I knit this up in the Knit Picks Stroll sock yarn. It's fingering weight. I have de-pilled these a couple times, and I've really hardly worn them, but I don't know. Like, I'm new to socks, right? And so I haven't worked with a lot of sock yarn. I know there's nylon in it. This is a 25% nylon yarn, but I'm like, are they all this pilly? Because I don't know. I mean, that's kind of, I just feel like this one is a little more excessive. So I don't know that I would like go straight back to this yarn right away. If I'm being honest, but I am really happy with the color. I just think they are, just a staple pair of socks, but they're really cozy. So I do enjoy them. I do actually have another sock that didn't make the cut, and so I've knit 3 socks in order to get this finished object. I started with a different sock pattern, and I was like, I'm not gauge swatching for a sock, and there were certain things I liked about the pattern. Like, I think I had explained a couple things really well, but I would say having done that sock and then going into the I'm So Basic sock, all of the information between the two patterns really helped me form an understanding on the socks and sock construction and sizing and things like that. So I did opt to knit these on DPNs, where the I'm So Basic sock pattern, which is free, by the way. I don't think I explained that. The I'm So Basic sock pattern is knit up using Magic Loop, which is just not my preference. No hate to the Magic Loop users out there. I know there's like this whole thing. But I'm honestly, with knitting, I'm like, there's so many things where you can do Magic Loop, DPNs, shorties. You can be a continental knitter. You can be an English knitter. You can do whatever. And I think with those things, it's really just, wood needles, bamboo needles. It's just preference. And I'm like, it's okay to have preference. We're all different people. For me, I find Magic Loop hurts my hands, but I know people find DPNs really fiddly. And so just a little disclaimer there's room for all of it. To be honest, there's more important issues that we could be more divided over, honestly. So, yeah, when it's magic loop versus DPN, I'm like, you do you, and that's okay. So yeah, that's my first finished object today. I forgot to say what I'm wearing today, which is how I wanted to start this episode. I am wearing the Step by Step sweater by Florence Miller. This is my first knitted garment. Before that, I had done like blankets, scarves, baby hats, but I really wanted to make a sweater, and so I finished this one in February of this year, 2025. I did do the funnel collar, but I have it tucked in today, and I opted for the striped version, obviously. I knit this in Drops Nepal in the color Sage as my main color and Chalk as my contrasting color, which I am convinced Chalk is like the perfect cool toned off-white that exists. It's beautiful. But yeah, let's see what else about this pattern. Also, it is a free pattern, and I think that the step by step sweater is an amazing free resource to have out there. I think it makes learning how to knit garments such a more accessible thing to do. You can have the written pattern and the video, which I would argue, I think that people critique it because they're like, you should learn how to read the pattern, not just watch a video. And I think the video is amazing at showing the different techniques and stuff. So I would recommend, if you want to start with a knitted garment, print out the pattern, like read it, follow it, and use the video. You can use them both as tools together, and I think that you'll get a better understanding as a knitter if you do. And that's just if you haven't made a garment before. To each their own with that kind of thing, but I found it super helpful, and I thought it made learning how to knit garments very approachable. I really liked it, and I maybe wouldn't make another one, but I would encourage others to do so. So I also do go back to the video when I forget how to do things like the Italian bind off or German short rows, like if it's been a while and I'm like, oh, I need a refresher on that. It's very helpful. So yeah, like I said, it's such a good resource. In my humble opinion, my second finished object today is a pair of Doble Tøfler slipper socks, which is also a free pattern available on Ravelry. And this is a pattern I think that Sandnes Garn put out. I love the podcast Two Pearls in a Pod, and they both have made pairs of these. I know Paige just made at least one, and Sarah's made quite a few, and so I had been watching some of their videos, and I'm like, those look like the coziest slippers ever, and I had to make a pair. I didn't have these cast on during my last episode, but I did make a fall knitting plans video where I did talk about wanting to make these. I did follow a lot of Sarah's modifications, so I did the Judy's Magic cast on. I notated these in my Ravelry projects like religiously because I wanted to be able to come back to this pattern in 6 months and like not have to think about it. I would say the notes might be slightly overwhelming. Like, I didn't rewrite the pattern or anything, but like they're pretty detailed because I wanted to make sure I didn't have to think too hard about it if I came back to them and like kind of guess at what I had done. So that's really the point in it. And if like, I also have Sarah's notes from a pair that she made linked where she's much more like concise about it all. So those are linked in my Ravelry project notes as well, right at the top. Yeah, if mine are like way too busy, I understand that and I apologize. These are a felted, sorry, I have like, I'm picking at them because I don't know how to sit still, and I'll try not to keep holding these for too much longer. I wanted to just show you. They're knit up and then felted, which was honestly a lot more intimidating than it should have been. Like, just set your washing machine to do like 15 minutes, or just like check it every 15 minutes. I have a top load washer, which made it very easy. Sorry, I have a fuzz or hair in my eye. I checked these every 15 minutes and they were great. I'm thinking about doing another felting. I put these in with a towel, and the towel was gray, and a pair of jeans. So I do feel like because of the color, they did pick up like a little bit of that towel fuzz you can kind of see. So I have been picking that off, but honestly, these are so cozy, and I've already been wearing them a ton. I did order pads to put, like, to sew on to the bottom so that they're not too slippery. I live in a duplex. I'm in the upstairs unit, and we have painted stairs that I have to walk down to get to the laundry. I also am like going downstairs in the evenings a lot of time because my friend lives down there and we'll knit together. And I just wanted to be able to wear my slippers down the stairs and not worry about falling and hurting myself. I will show you again once I have those suede soles on them. And they kind of tie into my first whip. I'm still going to be talking about the same pattern because I am making another pair of the Doble Tøfler slipper socks. And these ones are for my husband. I'm making, the colors, sorry. The yarn for this is Sandnes Garn Fritidsgarn, and my color is the color Poppy, and his is the color Smoke, which is like this pretty heather dark gray color. The construction I will talk about because it is quite interesting. Basically, you knit a tube. And so I started with the Judy's Magic cast on, which they have you cast on in the round and seam this up later. Honestly, the Judy's Magic cast on, like, it was my first time and it was really fun. So I was like, oh, why would you not do that, honestly? And then you knit one side and then you knit down the other side, and I knit 2 less rows on the inside foot. And then, which should be this one. Okay, so you take this corner and go into this corner like this. And then you take the inside toe and you basically fold it in. And then when you felt it, or when I felted it, I tacked together the front and the back. I just used like embroidery thread, honestly. So then you felt it, and they honestly knit up so quick because it's a bulky weight yarn. And I'm on my husband's second one right now. I'm just at the very beginning, but honestly, these knit up in a couple days. So we will have cozy toesies very soon. I think that's all I've got to say about this pattern. I hope I'm not forgetting anything or that I'm not too confusing. If you do have questions, please ask and I'd be happy to answer them. I have one other whip that I wanted to show you today. I do have another whip or two on the needles, but they're things that I've talked about before and really haven't made any progress on in the meantime, so I don't want to just keep bringing them back every episode if I haven't made any progress. They're not forgotten. I keep looking at them longingly, like, I want to come back to you. I just wanted to prioritize the slippers to get them kind of done. It also feels nice to like tick a box of like finished project. And I do have a test knit that is due by November 1st that I have been working on and ripping back and working on because it was my mistake. I did show this to you last time. This is my Harley vest by Rita Dowd of Lemon Crafted. I just connected under the arm to work on the body, which means I'm done with increases. Hallelujah. Oh, so I showed you, I think, the back panel in my last video, which I realized I had been doing completely wrong. I am new to cables. This is a 1x1 zigzag cable vest, and it's so squishy. Like, it's honestly super fun. But I was doing my leftover right cable. No, my right leaning cable incorrectly. So I'm hoping that Rita does have like a link in her pattern when it's done to show how to do the cables. I'm making this in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the color Soft Cognac, which I feel like suits this pattern very well. I'm really excited to have the finished object. So this is in testing, and I will be working on this pretty seriously until I have it done, to be honest. I want to be able to get all my notes in like promptly. It's my first test knit, so I'm like, I want to have good test knit etiquette. One thing that's really cool is if you do have trouble meeting gauge or want to use a different yarn, I think the recommended weight for this pattern is Aran weight, if I'm not mistaken. I'm doing it in a worsted weight, but I am on gauge. If you're not on gauge, you can change the size that you're making based on your gauge, and Rita explains how to do that. She puts like a whole formula in the first couple pages of the pattern, and I haven't tried it yet, but I think it's really cool to have that resource in there. So all I have left to do on this one is knit down to the hem and then pick up the seams. This is my first vest, and I was really excited because Emily, the botanical knitter, is doing a make along for October vest, and I was like, perfect, test knit, October vest, I can participate in both, and so I was really excited to do so. I guess my first acquisition does correlate to this vest because I did pick up some buttons yesterday. No, not yesterday, over the weekend. There is a yarn store that's local to me called Dandelion Fiber Company. It is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and it was their birthday this last weekend, and so they were having a little sale. I popped in, and I did end up getting these toggle buttons for my vest. So I brought my project, and I was just like laid it out by the buttons, and I was holding them all up to see what I wanted to do with this fabric, which I really am excited for, this kind of more monochromatic moment. And I did look through all of them and pick out the ones that I liked the grain the best. If they had like a little knot on it, I was like, I want that one. So I think these will be cute little toggles for, let's see if I can like show you for this pattern. Whoops. It is kind of hard to show things on the camera and look in the monitor at the same time to make sure you're seeing it properly. I'll probably get better at that with time, right? This is my third video ever, so. I did get another item while I was at Dandelion this weekend, and it is the Clothes Doctor comb. So this is what I've been depilling with. I've used it on my socks. I've actually used it on this sweater because Drops Nepal is very, very pilly. I do kind of wish I held it with a mohair just to help. I think that mohair will help prevent the pilling from happening, is what I understand. I really went to town on this sweater. I had like a fuzzball like worth of pilling that I combed off of it, to be honest. And honestly, this was really affordable. It was like $9.50, and I don't know, I was just like watching TV and depilling my sweater. I think it'll be a really handy tool to have. My last acquisition is something that is very exciting and something that I really didn't think I'd be getting now or for a long time. I'm actually a quarter share owner of this. And I've talked about a little bit before, I'm doing a sheep to sweater class with Tiny Cabin Knits. I think that's her name on both TikTok and Instagram. And she lives out on a sheep farm, and she had a bunch of sheep fleece that she had left to process from the shearing in the spring. And so she put it out there, like, if anyone's interested in doing a sheep to sweater class, like, let me know. And instantly a bunch of my friends and I were like, yes, please, we want to learn how to do that. So we have done 2 classes so far where we've learned how to skirt and scour the wool, and then we took home the rest of our fleece to like skirt and scour on our own. And then we just had a class over the weekend, and that was for carding. And so we got hand carders, which I guess is technically another acquisition. I don't have them with me, but I showed them in my fall knitting plans video, I'm pretty sure. There's a couple acquisitions in there that I'm not going to talk about today, just 'cause I don't want to be redundant, and you're more than welcome to check out that video. I mean, I would love it. So the other day we did hand carding, and then Allie has a drum carder that we all put our fleece through, that we did get carded, so that we got some, I think it's called roving. And so obviously the next step after that would be spinning. I haven't used it yet, but currently in my possession as a quarter share owner is this spinning robot. I'm thinking it'll be easier than doing a drop spindle, and it's a bit more affordable than buying a spinning wheel, which would be really cool to have one day. We're gonna try Allie's spinning wheel out at our next class when we do some spinning, but I might get a little head start and like test this guy out. I'm very intimidated to try it, but I also am really excited, and I am trying to go for a worsted to Aran weight spin, which I heard is a good beginner friendly option to do. We're gonna see how that goes. I have a couple patterns in mind that I want to use my hand spun sheep to sweater yarn for. I'm primarily thinking the Miles shirt jacket, but also if it's like super wonky yarn and inconsistent, which it probably will be. I've heard that spinning is a very humbling experience. Then I might go for something with a little more texture to kind of like play with and hide the wonkiness, and we'll see. I don't know. I'm just gonna like take it as it comes and make a decision from there. Holding my plans pretty loosely at this point, but after carding so much fiber, I mean, that is like a serious workout. It was a lot of work. We like kind of took turns carding everyone's fleece. Like we'd all work on one, and then they would take their carded fleece to the drum carder and then keep going. So for like 5 hours, I was just like hand carding sheep fleece. But it was really fun, and I feel like the people I've met through this process, I've just really enjoyed getting to know, and we're like building a little sense of community. It was our second class, and we had a potluck basically. So we all brought like food, like my sister-in-law made pasta salad, Allie made a frittata, we had these like blueberry scone-like things that were delicious, and I made cinnamon buns, which is the first time I've baked in quite a while, honestly. I think the summer is just like too hot in my apartment to bake and like have the oven on. Like it doesn't cool down very well. We don't have central air conditioning. Well, we do kind of, but it's an old house and we live upstairs. And so the window unit is trying to keep up with like getting the hot air out. But I have jokingly called those cinnamon buns my crash out buns because I had to remake the dough 3 times. I'm so hard on myself, you guys. I honestly was like convinced in my head, and it says it right on the packaging, but I was convinced in my head that a half a cup of butter was 2 sticks. And so I messed up and I wasted butter, and I felt horrible about it. And was rolling cinnamon rolls at 1 in the morning before my class to put them in the fridge overnight to take out and bake in the morning. All that being said, they turned out really well and was delighted by them. And I had a few left over, and I was bringing my things in after I got home, and I dropped my tray of cinnamon buns on the pavement, and my glass baking dish just shattered. So I was like, wow, these are really trying to get me. I don't know. It happens. Cleaned up. We move on. And I'm on the hunt for a new baking dish, like a 9x13 stoneware, glassware baking dish. Because, I mean, now that I've like made the recipe again, I'm like, okay, let's keep going. Which, by the way, it's a Joy the Baker recipe. And they were in like her Christmas catalog. I saw her post on Instagram about them. They were lemon poppy seed rolls. And I was like, I must make these. So I ordered her magazine, got it. It has all holiday recipes. I've made a few of them. But I love that you can make these cinnamon buns and then put them in the fridge overnight. So it's like you're not spending 3 hours in the morning trying to get buns ready. And then I've just adapted the recipe to, instead of doing lemon poppy seed, sometimes I'll do cinnamon and cardamom. Or you can do like an orange poppy seed. And so they're kind of a fun little bun to make. Sorry for like derailing from knitting, but baking and cooking is like a hobby of mine. And as the weather cools down and I feel like I can use my oven more, I'm like really ready to harness those cozy vibes. The class itself has been so wonderful and really, I don't know, we're in like a really heavy time in with like breaking news coming out every day and just things that are like really frustrating about what's happening in the country and the world. And so I've really found some solace in taking this class with like-minded people, kind of doing something that is really grounding together. I have some footage from that class, and so maybe I'll insert a little bit at the end of this podcast here. But I really appreciate you if you've stuck with me through my blabbering on about baking and community and everything. Like I think I say this in every video. I'm just like happy to be here. I'm really grateful for the kind response to starting this podcast. I know it's a learning curve and not everything is perfect right out the gate. But I've really enjoyed making this content for you and finding connection. I really hope to see you next time, and happy knitting.